Welcome to the Caucus for Women in Statistics 50th Anniversary Presidential Interview Series. As part of our celebration of our 50th anniversary in 2021, we're interviewing our past presidents. This interview is of Susmita Datta, our 2013 president, will be conducted by Tomi Mori.
All right. Well, Susmita, thank you so much for being here today. And I'm honored to interview you. You are the 2013 CWS president. And I'd like you to just kind of briefly introduce yourself and, what you do now. And yeah, you're like a little bit of about you. So that would be great.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of 50th anniversary of Caucus for Women in Statistics. And I'm honored to represent Caucus for Women in Statistics. I am currently a tenured professor and a preeminent hire of the university. My research work spans various topics in statistics, but mostly in omics data analysis, genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, lipidomics, all sorts of omics areas, and also some survival analysis, infectious disease modeling. And I have worked, I'm a senior person, so I have worked in many different areas. Cancer, Alzheimer's disease, this, that. So it's a very exciting research life, I must say.
I think there's more and more omics data coming, and they seem to run out of, they have plenty of idea for the technology.
Right. And these are so very different. I work in single cell data analysis now. It's so very different kind of data with zero inflation and multimodality and this and that. So very complex. So I really like to work in this kind of areas where it's really tough to employ that older technologies or methodologies to analyze the data. And then
so can you tell us a little bit about how did you end up becoming a statistician?
Yeah. I was basically in physics. I did my undergraduate in physics from India. Then I did a little bit of master's and then came here to complete the master's. But when I came here, it was really an eye-awakening experience that I saw that so many of brilliant physicists, they were just doing their postdoc forever. So not real jobs. And of course, it comes with a toll that, it's lab-oriented science, so you have to be in the lab for a longer hour. So I was rethinking that whether I have to be a mother at some point. So whether it is really good for me to work under somebody for a longer time and then less flexibility. So I decided to change. I thought I will change to computer science, but due to my family reason, I have to move to University of Georgia just to maintain the family. So at that time, University of Georgia did not even have a PhD program in computer science. Master's was also not a master's. It's a terminal degree in, it used to be called MAMS. So mathematics and computer science together. So what I kept on thinking, what should I do? At that time, during that period, even before going to University of Georgia, I have taken a course in probability that was taught by an Indian professor there. And he was so good, such a great teacher that I really loved probability. So I thought that I may want to try probability, but I ended up getting into statistics with that love of mine. So it was a good department at University of Georgia, statistics department. So I got my master's also in statistics, applied statistics, and then I got my PhD in statistics, theoretical statistics. And but when I was working towards my PhD program, I got interested because I'm from a lab background in physics. So I wanted to do something which the data is generated from a lab. So, then I had to really think, what do I do? Started getting interested in genetics, and my advisor was in genetics and statistics both. So he was the only choice that could offer me that. So his name is Dr. Jonathan Arnold. And it was a very different experience for me to work with him, because I had to work mostly just by myself. I mean, they are so busy. Biologists are so busy. So they just give you the problem, and then you take your time, solve it, and then finally say, yeah, I'm done. But he definitely helped me to learn that area. It was in population genetics. So stochastic processes and all. So little bit of my probability, affection and statistics, both statistical inference, everything I could use in that project. And then I kept on working in that area for a while. And then continued after, of course, I had to be within Georgia for family reasons. So I took a postdoctoral position at Emory. I worked with Beth Soloran and Ira Longini for infectious disease modeling. Unfortunately, the area that I worked on for my PhD program, that was not the area that they were working on. So I had to pick up a new area. But it's not a problem. I have always changed so many times that I can pick up any area. So what I found in my life that, if you have a good math background, math is like a language, right? So if you are comfortable with that, you can change in any field. I mean, it was exciting. And that really gave me the confidence that, I can do any computational areas, any mathematical areas. So that's how I'm very interdisciplinary. And then I got a job after completion, my postdoctoral position for 2 years. I got a tenure assistant professor's position in Georgia State University. And then it went on, then to University of Louisville, then finally to University of Florida.
So like a little winding road, but you ended up in the right place.
Right. It's tough, two-body problems, and it was not a simple path. Every time I had to compromise. I could not do what really I wanted to do at that time. So I had to kind of balance what was available to me, made the decision that way. So it's not a easy journey at all.
Well, I'm going to go back to CWS history a little bit. So back in 2013, when you were president, what was the most pressing issue for the organization?
Wow, it was really a tough time. I was the first non-Caucasian president of Caucus for Women in Statistics.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, at some point in my career, I thought, okay, up to getting tenure, I did not do any such activities. I was just so involved with my new daughter new house and tenure process that I was just too focused. I did not see anything else. And then after getting my tenure, I started, looking, because then I had some time to think about what I faced. And some of the things, it was not really good. I mean, too much of self-sacrifice, I would say. So I started paying attention to what is happening to women, how difficult it is, because I knew that my life was very difficult, because during the childbirth, process, and then having in those days, childbirth was not even recognized as a sickness. So I just took 2 weeks of vacation. That's about it. So it was really, really tough, difficult for me to go through this, and totally male dominated. 2 of us were there in my assistant professor's position, and the other one faced even harder struggle. So I paid attention. Then I thought that I should do something for women. So it was my own initiative that I became a member of Caucus for Women in Statistics. And luckily, I was chosen to be a leader not too long after I joined. I have learned a lot through the process. Actually, I'm very proud of my presidency, but I faced tremendous trouble when I joined there, because that's the time the web page was hacked.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yes. And web page was hacked, and the person who was really taking care of the web page did not even save a copy of the web page. So it was a tremendous troublesome period. I could not even imagine that this can happen in those days, 2013. It was not a common problem. And then I thought, oh my God, nobody, the president, the webmaster, nobody had any record of it, that, at least one version of the web page. So I had to start from scratch. In between, many things happened. Some of them were pleasant, some of them were not pleasant. So it was a challenging time, but I should thank Tina Katsonosis, that she really stepped up to the occasion, and then helped me. Her daughter actually helped me to create the web page. She really, I'm so grateful to that young lady, Tina's daughter. I just, at this point, I cannot remember the name, but she was so good, so efficient, that saved me for that time. And then I did so many things for Caucus. And then that time we were preparing for the first conference of women in statistics and data science. Amanda Goldbeck and Delin Stengel, they came up with the idea, but I was fascinated. I really thought it is during my presidency, so I should really work hard to make it happen, because that's the first conference for women in statistics. So both of them had some philosophical problem making the conference happen. So I had to be very cautious that I don't really focus on those divisions, but I am a unifying member. And then I started really be very cool and let it happen without much problem. So I wrote the proposal to NIH, and luckily it got funded. So that helped that conference quite a bit. Now it is under ASA, but at that time, ASA was partly involved, partly supported it, because for Committee of Women in Statistics, and Dillian Stengel was the chair of that committee. So I closely worked with them and Lynn Palmer, who was the past president. So we made it happen, really. It was very satisfying.
That's an accomplishment. That's, yes, we make sure that it gets into our timelines.
Exactly. Yeah.
And by the way, Tina donated a lot of the historical documents. So we are going through some of the documents that she donated to the caucus, all the caucus related document. And so we are hoping to establish history page.
I see.
With all these informations, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to many others also, Marie Palta and then Jennifer. At that time, it was really, I mean, one of them got somehow very, I did not want to keep the same webmaster. And so she was very upset for, at that time, I had to really deal with a lot of conflicts, but I mean, it was so rewarding afterwards. Caucus became totally different then onwards. Now it is in such a great shape. I recruited Nancy Flournoy as a president. I thought that the caucus is in such a shape that some, leader who has done some chairmanship or of a department or so with a lot of what should I say, validity should be there to fix the bylaws and things like that. And Nancy did it wonderfully. So then onwards, really, so many good people became, I'm not saying the others were not good, they were very good too, but it's a new generation. It needed little bit, of innovations and include women from other races and all that. So I felt that, very strongly that so far caucus was, before me, caucus was very restricted within Caucasians. So I think that's my contribution.
Yeah, diversified. So what is your favorite memory of caucus?
Yeah, there are two, I would say two of them. First one, because I was so bombarded with so many problems when I entered, I thought many a times, I thought, why did I take this position? It would have been better if I don't take it. But when things were working out, first, when 2013, it was Montreal GSM. And I did everything like booking the room and the food, everything had to be done. But end of the day, there were problems with the room booking also. So there are many struggles for some reason at that point. I mean, that's my luck. Many a times I get into a situation when I'm faced with a lot of problems. I'm sure others do too, but I always found it very interesting. So it's not easy for me to do anything. But the success was so good that, that business meeting, for the first time I saw that room full of people, and people were giving talks in that business meeting. Some people had to wait outside. It was a total success. Many even older leaders like Mary Gray, of course, Nancy Flournoy, and so many people showed up that it overwhelmed me that, I'm the first non-Caucasian doing it with a lot of problems. Everybody knew that so much of problem was there, but it turned out to be a huge success. So I have changed after that. I mean, I really got the confidence of taking any hard job, because end of the day, it works out. And then, of course, the first conference of women in statistics, it was such a success. And it was Delene and we were the main, of course, other people, Lynn Palmer and some other people were there too. But we did we worked pretty closely. And again, at the back, there were some tensions were there, but we made it, you know. So many people showed up. It was such a satisfying issue. And then with that support of NIH, we could invite so many youngsters with travel support and all. They were doing the poster session. It was a total success. So many cool posters. So I still cherish that experience.
That must be so rewarding. You know,
Yes.
it's like a climbing on the mountain and
Uh-huh.
getting to the top and seeing the beautiful sunset.
Right, right. Yeah. And it is always going to be there that it happened during my presidency. So I'm so very, I mean, I cherish whenever I become depressed, I do think about that, oh, I have done something which is meaningful.
Well, thank you for all the hard work you've done for the caucus and all the women's, you know, at the time when you're president.
Thank
You
you.
continue to do now. So changing the questions to today, what challenges do you think female statisticians face today?
Yeah, I would have thought that we will not, everything will be solved, but it's not solved. We have made progress, tremendous progress, of course, and there is targeted hire for, you know, women leaders, but still, there are situations that women face in statistics and any computational field, actually. Biostat, the problem is little lesser, but still there are. At this point, the department I work in, it is a big department, but currently only 2 female professors, including me. So, of course, I mean, there is a problem. There are reasons for it. Women are still treated differently. The people don't recognize that they are doing it. So previously it was out in the open. Now it is implicit bias for grant submission, for paper writing, the review process. Everything is still there, unfortunately. And the mentoring is a huge problem, that to get the advice. The thing I feel very strongly is only a woman can really direct another woman in details, because we face so many problems starting from physiological processes. I mean, we face day in, day out. I mean, every month we go through this, menstruations, this, that's a problem. It's a psychological issue too. Some people are affected way more than others. Women, they go through that. Then comes child bearing. It's no matter what people say, I don't know, everything cannot be done. Unless the administration is very supportive, you kill yourself with work-life balance, really. I mean, you sacrifice so much of sleep and anything and everything that it becomes a real issue when you grow older. Although men do take part in the process way more than they used to, but still, it is not 100% their responsibility. It is still the mom who takes a lion's share for the family organization, and the workplace, I don't think still fully can acknowledge that how much a woman does just by being a mom. And then it continues until the son or daughter is grown up. So it is a kind of an unfair expectation, I would say. Every department should make some arrangement so that the tenure clock will stop without even making a special case or anything like that. There should be, as long as we are still in the role of producing the next generation and take the lion's share of responsibility, every department should really accommodate this very strongly, so that the woman, now what happens is family leave is there, but many of us feel, many of the ladies I didn't have to face, because I didn't even have that family leave when I was in that situation. Many of them, they're scared of taking those privileges because of implicit bias. They think that what will happen when they are going through my tenure process. But if it is kind of normal everywhere, even chair is encouraging, please do take the break, and it is a much deserving break, because you are really bringing a life. I mean, it is a huge responsibility, and they should do it with much fear of thinking about what will happen to my tenure, So I don't know companies what they do, but I'm so aware of the academic situations. So I still think that we should do way more than before, because it should not be a choice that if you are in academia, then there is a struggle between whether you should have a baby or you love your profession so much that you don't want to have a baby. There should not be a choice. I mean, we are really doing an important job. Until and unless test tube babies are a reality, we are doing something way more than others. And then I have seen that, still there's a disproportionate percentage of women, they go through up the ladder, and at the end of the tunnel, they are professors. Very few make it still, because now half the PhD students, half or more PhD students are women. What is happening? I mean, we need to really follow through their life and see why are they going through. There are assistant professors, at the most associates, but after that, very few go through the professor's position. So any leadership position, any institution should encourage proactively. There are rules and regulations, but implementation is not good enough. The chairs are not really trained to deal with women issues, I feel, and they don't have any managerial skill to deal with women issues. I think every academic institution should make some effort. What they're doing it. It has become a lot better, but still not there yet. So we should encourage that. These are not that excuses that women could not perform as much. These are really the issues that we have to deal with. It's very different from men. And then when they grow older, they face this menopause and all these things. These are real. These are not really made up issues or not excuses. These are real issues. So if the managers or the chairs and the deans, if they are really aware of it and make adjustment to the work expectation for a woman, it will be much better, because we are really treated as though we have to produce the same amount as men, but at the same time, we have to do all this extra stuff naturally. So it's a tremendous problem for women, actually. So I am not blaming men or anything. Even the women leaders, they also should do it. It's not that some of us can work hard and go through the process, but it is not enough to think that every other woman will have to be much tougher than a man to go through this. It's not right. So I feel very strongly that we should really do more.
I completely agree. It gives me some thought about what we could do, even try to figure out how many university or organization has a policy about giving extra time for, childbirth or other things. So I'm at the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They just passed the rule that grant the additional time for either new parents, either mother or father. But I don't, but that's brand new, just happened this year. So I'm curious to see what the other organization is doing, and we could be the voice.
Exactly.
Or something like, just small way that if we can make changes.
Yes, I think Caucus can really do a lot. It is an independent organization. We don't have to really think about our reputation, this, that, but so we have the greatest advantage then that we can really make these adjustments and send memos to every academic institutions. The thing is, now the academic institutions, many of them, they have these accommodations, but as I said, the chairs are not trained enough to implement those. We are very much dependent on the welfare, of the department chair or the dean. If they are really conscientious, then they are doing it. It should not be the case. It should be a rule that it has to be done. So women should not even think twice that whether they should kill themselves through the process or it should be done in a real societal responsibilities, and it's nothing.
They use the privilege, they're afraid to be seen as a weakness or
exactly
perception.
Yeah. Even in the younger generation, I have talked to people in industry. They also have such bad notion about women that they are not good enough, and I wonder why is that so. So many CEOs are women, but still there is a conception that women, they don't perform as well, which is not true at all. Just that they have to go through these processes. So we have to really turn the society and value that quite a bit, that we do it.
So my final question is that what do you think statistics discipline will be like in 50 years? And, what advice would you give to female statisticians in preparation for maybe changes in the future?
Right. It is a deep issue. Whether I know the proper answer or not, I don't know, but I think statistics as a curriculum will have to be changed. We are changing, but it has to be changed even more because in the presence of data science, it is becoming way more generalized. It's not really, we cannot really have those old curriculums for a statistics program. It has to be changed, and due to statistics as a field is data driven. That's how it started. And we should remember that we should be very aware of how the data generated is the statistics, how it can handle that. So the older statistical inference methods and all, they will have to be changed. Some people are really doing a lot of research on that, but still we are not there yet. We are now competing with computer science quite a bit, and now data science is coming. So we have to be proactive to make the curriculum changes. But of course, statistics, the general philosophy of statistics, inferential techniques will have to be taught. but the programs will have to be way more computationally oriented, because until and unless you can really present your statistical methodology in terms of an algorithm that people can use, it will become irrelevant because very few people will read your paper. And if nobody reads your paper, so then it is lost. If we are just sitting on ivory towers doing extremely mathematical research, there is no contradiction between mathematics, statistics, and the data science. They're all part of it, just that the final end product will have to be different. We have to think about how to handle big data, different kinds of data with plenty of variables and so on and so forth. So the students will have to be really computationally savvy, otherwise we'll lose our edge, in the interdisciplinary community. Things are going to be within the presence. It has become bioinformatics. I worked a lot in bioinformatics, so I know the call is there to become way more application oriented. Even though you make a very huge statistical theory, still it is needed for you to let people use your methodology. So for that, you have to be really good in computational aspects of it, and this cluster computing and using of compute cluster and all those things will have to be routine in statistics curriculum. And women, one good thing about them is they can, I studied for my own life and some of my other colleagues, women colleagues, they are really, they accept the reality way more than men somehow. I mean, we are very practical. Maybe we raise children, so, we deal with our next generation quite a bit. So we are, more accepting towards new things. So women can play a huge role, actually. I do believe. I do encourage young women to go for PhD and all that. And then they do, I mean, I'm really lucky that they are doing very well. My students are doing very well, men, women, irrespective of that. So I envision a very generalized statistics program, biostatistics program, and they will be interacting with data science, computer science quite a bit, and we will be at par with them. That's the idea, because statisticians have a different skill set and computer scientists have a different skill set, and data science kind of merges them too. And I am hopeful about it, but we need that change everywhere. So I'm very hopeful.
I agree that the women are more adaptable to the
Yes, they are very adaptable.
Yeah. So maybe we will do much better than men.
Yes, and we have seen that this COVID situation, the women leaders, women presidents in other countries, wherever women are there, they have done wonders really in this COVID situation. It's a new challenge and women did so much better. So I'm very hopeful about women, and the current leadership vice president is a woman. I'm really hopeful.
Oh, yes, of course. She's have a connection to India.
Yes, I mean, yeah. So I am very aware of the race situation, actually, being a brown woman, and brown and woman, the kind of things I faced and I still face, it's real. It's not being cynical. We do face a lot of problems. So I hope that next 50 years will make such progress that we will not have to have this specialized organization for women. That's my hope, that it will be, so many women will be there, that it is, we don't have to make quotas to recruit women or diversity quotas for races. I sincerely hope that the world will change and we don't have to talk about these things anymore.
So just before I end, would you tell us a little bit about your other life that you have and artistic part of you that the people don't know about?
Yes, I am a singer. I'm a singer and started doing it from my childhood. And then I was faced with a dilemma whether I want to go 100% into music or, academic field. I chose academia, which was a great choice. I don't regret that at all. But now that my daughter is grown up, I am doing it way more than before because I see that after a while, who knows, after 20 years or so, I may not be able to do it in this way. So I'm doing it with much vigor these days. And I have four, yeah, 4 CDs more and 7 singles. They are all available through Amazon and then Spotify, all the social medias, and it is there in YouTube. I have really launched my new YouTube channel now. I do have Facebook music channel, and I envision that I will be doing even more and more if Almighty permits me. It is tough. Now I am again having to deal with dual career. So one is academia, another one is music. But music is, I will advise everybody to have a hobby because that really takes you when we have to deal with a lot of rejections, right? Paper, grants, not. And in those days, this music, the other stuff, any art, any form of art, that gives you a pathway to stress release. So now I'm doing it way more, but I'm watching. If this becomes little more stressful, I'll go back to my original stage where I always used to do music, but not going out there. Because once you are going out there, it becomes a sort of mandatory that you do it professionally and all those. So if I'm watching, if it becomes little too much, then I won't do it because my primary dedication is to my academia. And I would say that music is emotionally helpful for me. And then I want to have that role. But I would like lot more academicians will have hobbies, and then we will support each other so that we can have a really good time. I will share my YouTube page. If any of you are interested, please do go listen to it. If you give searches with my name, uh, the thing is that they'll show so many music things and then comes my academia. that I find that very entertaining. But no, I'm not compromising academia for even for music. So.
Well, I'm going to see your YouTube and go find your music. So
Thank you.
oh, thank you so much
You're
for interviewing with us and sharing your personal stories and perspectives.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it so much. So
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope
you.
we'll be able to meet in person at the JSM next year. But if not, definitely 2022. But I'm still hoping vaccine would come and we'll
Right.
be able to see each other and celebrate that 50th anniversary in person.
Exactly. I'm so happy to be connected with you. We will remain in touch. That's the idea of Caucus, that we will be connected forever and support each other in whichever way possible and really build a network of women who can really make a societal change.